Welcome back to the City Ramble. Joe, I don't know if you heard news, I'm sure you have seen the news, that Bayern Munich, speaking of Germans, have extended the contract of Vincent Kompany. The typical German media, I think it's fair to say, have been spinning a little bit. If you read in between the lines, you've got the likes of, I think it's Bild in Germany, a couple of the other sort of Bayern-centric media outlets suggesting that this is possibly because they wanted to protect their asset, Vincent Kompany, from Manchester City sniffing around in terms of a Pep Guardiola replacement. Now, at the moment, beforehand, Guardiola and Kompany's respective contracts expired in 2027. Kompany is now contracted at the Allianz Arena until 2029. I don't know about you, but I've certainly been getting the sense that more and more it's been trending towards Kompany's probably going to be Pep's replacement. And to be honest, I don't know how much this makes a difference. All it might mean is City have to pay Bayern a little bit of a fee in 2027 or whenever that might be.
Yeah, that's, I mean, like you say, it's protecting an asset in the sense that they'll get something for it if we do go back for him. But I mean, like you say, would it change? Like, would it make Kompany not want to go to take the City job if we rocked up in 2027 and said, "Here's a contract, Vincent Kompany"? Like, the fact he has 2 years left on his Bayern deal isn't going to stop him from taking that job if it's there, if he wants to do it. It's just that, as you say, we're going to have to just give Bayern some compensation of like and they're probably going to get like, I don't even know what a manager's going for nowadays, 20 mil for these kind of things or what, I don't know.
Funnily enough, Bayern, when they were looking to replace, who would it have been at the time? Can't remember who the last Bayern Munich manager was.
Was it not, it wasn't Ancelotti, was it?
No, Ancelotti was like 20...
Kovac?
Niko Kovac was there for a bit, but they had, pretty sure they had Hansi Flick after that. Julian Nagelsmann, yeah. No, because Tuchel replaced Nagelsmann. They have burned through managers. Like, absolutely.
They've actually... God, and that's all just since COVID as well. I think most of them.
You've actually made me pull up the list of... it was Tuchel.
There you go.
Ancelotti was 2017. Then they had Willy Sagnol as a caretaker. Jupp Heynckes came back for a bit. Niko Kovac was 2018 to 19. Hansi Flick for a couple of years. Nagelsmann for a couple of years. Tuchel and then Vincent Kompany since 2024. Yeah. I mean, I've seen some Bayern Munich fans rather hilariously say stuff along the lines of, "Oh well, this is proof that Kompany's rejecting City." Blah blah blah. If City wanted to, Vincent Kompany would be in the tracksuit or the suit for Villa on Sunday. He wouldn't have even left Bayern Munich a note on the table, would he? If we're being honest, this is just purely Bayern Munich protecting their own sort of interests.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously they've got PTSD from one manager having left on a free to go to Manchester City and working out to be quite a success for us. So I think they're probably looking forward to it.
Do you know what? For about a couple of seconds, like, who on earth are you on about? Yeah, obviously he left Bayern, didn't he?
So they're probably thinking we don't really want to do that again. But I'm still not sure how I feel about Kompany being our manager.
I'm still not sure because I'm the same.
I imagine by the time 27 rolls round and he's had a couple more years and he's probably won, hopefully, every trophy possible with Bayern, or at least just smashed it domestically in the same way that Pep did, then I think I'd be more open to it. But I don't know. I just don't like the idea of I don't want to be here.
That was rather blunt. Like, what's your problem?
What is your problem?
What would be your issue with?
I don't want to find myself sat. I don't want to find myself sat on the City Ramble, saying get Kompany out of our club because he's fucking shit. I don't ever want to be in a position like that. I don't want to not like. And this is how United fans must have felt about Solskjaer. And don't get me wrong, they all still love him. I think the fact that every manager since Solskjaer has been even shitter than Solskjaer probably helps that, to be fair. But even when it was actually ongoing and he was there and it was awful, I think nobody felt like nobody didn't still love Solskjaer. He is still a Manchester United club legend no matter what. And the same would apply to Vincent Kompany. He's got a statue outside the Etihad. Like, nothing he could do as a manager would diminish the legacy that he has as a player. However, I really don't want him to have a stint as a manager where there's a chance that he's awful. And I'm not necessarily saying that he would. Maybe he could come in and he could just be fine, like tick over, maybe win a couple of trophies here and there, maybe never win a league title, but win a couple of cups like the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup. And maybe that's just what we've got to come to expect once Pep goes anyway. And I suspect that probably is going to be the case to some degree. But does it have to be Kompany? Like, can we get a Nagelsmann in first? Like, I don't know. It doesn't have to. I don't want to go straight from Pep to former club legend. Like, I want like.
Why don't we just repeat the Bayern Munich list of managers? Like,
just the hand-me-downs from Bayern Munich
2036 or whatever it is.
Well, if Bayern keep burning, if Bayern keep burning through managers, we have no choice but to just take their hand-me-downs forever. Like, they're just gonna, because everyone will have managed Bayern Munich at some point. I just think, look, I'm open to the idea of Kompany managers as one day. Maybe it gets to the end of his contract in 29 and he's been there for however long and he goes, you know what, I'm done, and we have an opening and we go, cool, join us. And after we've had someone else between Pep and him, I don't know. I'm just not sure how I feel about it going straight from Pep to Kompany.
Agreed.
But it would make a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. And obviously Pep himself has been hyping up the idea that Kompany will absolutely be our manager one day. Like, whenever that is, it remains to be seen. And everybody in the club, the Khaldoon loves Kompany. Like, everybody loves Kompany. We all love Kompany. He knows the club inside and out. He's been heavily involved in lots of aspects of, you know, this like around the CFA with like the academy and stuff like that while he was here. He knows still a few players in the squad. Like, there are a lot of reasons from a neutral point of view for it to happen.
Let's say it is 2027. There won't be anyone that he could manage who he's already played with, would there?
Foden, yeah, of course, Foden, yeah. That would be the only one, actually.
Yeah,
or Bernardo will be gone by the time he goes. Yeah.
Stones,
yeah, so I think yeah. So you're looking at just Foden, really. Obviously,
that'd be cool.
I don't know how. That'd be the good. I think. Yeah, for me, if it happens, great. I'm sure I'll love every minute of it until the hopefully scenario that never happens where it might turn bad. I don't know, but if it was up to me, I would still just not risk it. But then also, as you say, like who can he manage? Like, who can he like after Bayern? Let's say he has a really successful 3 or 4 years at Bayern. Who is there that he could go to where success that he does there would make me go, right, now I'm comfortable with him managing Manchester City? Like, there isn't anyone like, he'd have to go to the Premier League and win it, but then at that point he's won the league with another Premier League team, which kind of instantly, because of the way that our league works, it ruled him out of the City job at that point. Like, we're not going to go for the former Liverpool manager or the former United manager or the former maybe Chelsea and Arsenal, maybe, I don't know, but yeah,
I have two reservations which are in a way say the same as yours, but also a little bit different. I totally 100% subscribe to the idea that I don't want to be stood there going, you know what, this isn't working, sack him, because there are very few managers who get the privilege of being unsackable. Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, Pep at City, Diego Simeone at Atletico Madrid. Diego Simeone for a different reason, obviously not sort of not in terms of the success, the volume of success, but you know what I'm getting at. Like the chance of Kompany becoming that guy at City is so slim, not because of it, you know, it's against him, but we were talking about quite literally, you know, once or twice in a generation in terms of coaching. So I agree totally there. And to be fair, like I'm not discounting the work he's done at Bayern Munich. Quite on quite the contrary, actually. I think he came in there and he was 10th choice or something in the end. They were going for Glasner. They were going for did they have a talk with Tuchel to maybe? I can't remember. Going all the way back, but there were so many different managers that were being linked and sort of turned them down. And he's gone in there and he's had to back up against the wall to begin with. I know people will say winning the league with Bayern Munich is nothing special, but they've just been humiliated by Leverkusen the season before. It wasn't the world beating Bayern Munich that we know. Obviously knocked out the Champions League by City a couple of years ago as well. So look, the work has been good, but I'm a little bit the same in the sense that it's like I don't mind him coming from Bayern to City, but I think you've got to have some serious next couple of seasons in the Champions League, there's got to be possibly a final appearance. Maybe that's too harsh, but I think, in terms of 100% a semi-final appearance, but like to come in at City, that's a big job. And replacing Pep Guardiola is an almost even bigger task. I know you might look at Klopp and Arne Slot winning the league title in his first season, but I think we're actually seeing the sort of the start of the actual Slot era, because it felt like a lot of last season Slot was running off the gas that was left behind in the tank with Klopp. So I think that's a major issue. I same with you actually. I've always said that after Pep, give me one of your generic top class managers who bounces about big teams in Europe for a couple of seasons. Just get the wheels ticking over again. Maybe we get an FA Cup, a Premier League title. I'm not saying Conte, but that sort of
the name that comes to my mind is Ancelotti. But I remember
that would be the perfect
reading
sort of thingy, wouldn't it? But
I remember reading about. I think it's the Bayern players. Obviously, he took over from Pep at Bayern as well. So we would just literally be copying the Bayern model if we did this. But I think that I remember the Bayern players had. I don't know if they were necessarily complaints or just observations, but they said that they felt that the quality of their training intensity and stuff like that took a massive nosedive from Pep to Ancelotti. Because Ancelotti obviously he's a very good tactician. He's a bit of a vibes manager.
Yeah, he's a man manager, not a coach, really. For being honest, isn't he?
He's obviously he's obviously still very good tactically to some extent, because obviously he's got a lot of success, especially particularly in Europe as well. And I think that probably the fact that he's at Real Madrid for most of those successes is probably a large part of that as well. But he's not, if you've got a team that's just come from being like daily, and to be fair, maybe there's something that the players might be grateful for, to not have this sort of Pep Guardiola daily intensity thing. But I just have memories of Bayern players not necessarily being happy with a manager like Ancelotti coming in after Pep. But also it does make sense. It's the kind of thing where he's a solid manager. He does guarantee success to some degree, because he does win things everywhere he goes. And like you say, that's a kind of it's a steady hand that you want to come in after Pep, and then you sort of go for the next era manager, which is what you would hopefully want Kompany to be if he's shown to be a success at Bayern by the time it comes round to that. So I'm with you. I think a final in Europe would be great. A semi-final is a must, really. Yeah. But I think he needs to if he comes in after dominating every domestic competition, there is no. It is Bayern League, Bayern Cup, every year that Kompany is there from now till the end of his contract. Then I'm going to be much more open to it at that point. But yeah, we can't have another Leverkusen year, otherwise that's going to be a problem. If someone else wins the league other than Bayern while Kompany's there, I'm going to have some serious concerns.
There's probably a word for the concerns you have when your prospective manager doesn't win the league title in Germany. The German language has probably got a word for that. Cool. I think that will do for today. Obviously, turning attention to Aston Villa, the real Villa, not the Villarreal, later in the week. I can't even take credit for that. I saw it. Oh, sorry, I heard it on a different podcast. I thought it was pretty cool. Also, extremely cheesy, but hey ho.
I was going to say, I'm kind of. You've done well to avoid the blame for that one. That's fine.
I saw your reaction and thought, you know what? If you'd have gone, bravo, I'd have been lapping it up, but maybe not.
It's a slow clap.
Yes, Joe. We wish you well in your hibernation. Goodness knows when we'll see you again, but enjoy FM, and
Thank you very much. Everyone who's triggered by my Jeremy Doku related tweets, you don't have to worry about those for a few weeks. I am not going to be looking at Twitter for a long time now. Football Manager's out, so yeah. Enjoy the silence.
Oh, bless. Listeners, we'll see you tomorrow. So until then, it's been a pleasure, and we'll see you later.